Overengineering has pushed the limits of car design for decades, often with wild results. Some of the most complex cars ever made ended up being as fragile as they were brilliant. Today, we're looking into the wildest machines that dared to do too much. Let's find out what made these cars legendary. Number 10. Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4, 1990s. Mitsubishi wasn't holding back in the 90s. The 3000 GT VR4 was their all-in-one performance showcase, a technological experiment wrapped in a sleek, aggressive body. It looked like a regular sports coupe, but underneath, it was packed with systems usually found in far more exotic machines. This car came with a twin-turbocharged 3-liter V6 engine, all-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, active aerodynamics, and electronic suspension control. And if that wasn't enough, there was even a Spider version with a fully retractable hardtop, the first of its kind in the US since the Ford Skyliner in the 50s. Still, the 3000 GT VR4 stood as a symbol of Mitsubishi's ambition. It was wild, exciting, and full of personality. Maybe a bit too much personality. Number 9. Lexus LS600HL, 2007. Lexus had its eyes on a different prize, redefining luxury through silent power and hybrid innovation. The LS600HL was their ultimate expression of understated excellence. To the average onlooker, it was just a large executive sedan. But under the hood, things got interesting. This was the first car in the world to combine a V8 engine with a full hybrid system, producing 445 horsepower. It also featured all-wheel drive, adaptive air suspension, an eCVT transmission, and enough interior tech to rival a business-class flight. Lexus didn't just add tech, they buried it in every inch of the car. Even so, for people who appreciated refinement over aggression, it was a quiet revolution, a blend of power, comfort, and sustainability that few others could match. Number 8. Volkswagen Feton, 2002. Volkswagen decided to shock the luxury car world in the early 2000s, and the Feton was their mic drop. Built to go toe-to-toe with the Mercedes S-Class. It came with a W12 engine, multi-zone climate control, Bentley-level materials, and some of the tightest panel tolerances ever seen. On paper, it was everything you could want in a flagship sedan. Except, it was still a Volkswagen. No matter how much tech they packed in, buyers couldn't look past the badge. People weren't ready to pay Mercedes money for something with a VW logo on the grille. Yet, the Feton showed what VW was capable of when they weren't worried about profits. It was a passion project, built to prove a point. Number 7. Aston Martin Laganda, 1976. When Aston Martin dropped Jaws with the Laganda, a spaceship in sedan form. Its wedge-shaped design looked like something from a sci-fi film, complete with pop-up headlights and sharp, futuristic lines. But it wasn't just the outside that turned heads. Inside, the Laganda featured one of the first fully digital dashboards, with LED readouts and touch-sensitive controls. It was like trying to drive a calculator. Still, the Laganda captured a bold moment in time when designers dared to push boundaries even if the results weren't exactly bulletproof. Number 6. McLaren P1, 2013. Then came the P1, McLaren's road-legal rocket ship. Released in 2013, it brought hybrid tech to the hypercar world with shocking results. A twin-turbo V8 worked alongside a powerful electric motor to push out 903 horsepower and launch the P1 from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. But that's not what made the P1 truly wild. This car featured Formula One tech like DRS, drag reduction system, IPAS, instant power assist, and a hydraulic suspension setup that adjusted ride height and stiffness on the fly. It didn't just drive, it adapted in real time. Still, for those lucky enough to drive one, it wasn't just a car. It was an experience. A reminder that the bleeding edge of innovation always cuts both ways. Before we move on to the next car on this list, take a second to hit that like button if you're enjoying this video. It really helps the channel grow and lets us bring you more interesting videos in the world of cars. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video like this. Number 5. Porsche 959, 1986. In the mid-1980s, the Cold War was still in full swing, but Porsche wasn't battling politics. They were busy trying to bend the laws of physics. Their weapon of choice? The the Porsche 959. At first glance, it looked like a sleeker 911, but under the skin, it was one of the most technically advanced road cars the world had ever seen. It came with a twin-turbocharged flat-six engine, a sophisticated all-wheel drive system, adjustable suspension, and a lightweight Kevlar body. Despite all that, the 959 paved the way for the modern supercar. It set the tone for everything Porsche and others would chase for decades. It didn't just race history, it beat it, then stalled in the shop waiting for parts. Number 4. Koigseg Regera, 2016. From German engineering to Swedish innovation, the Koigseg Regera didn't just aim to compete, it aimed to completely change the game. Introduced in 2016, the Regera was unlike anything on the market. It had over 1,500 horsepower, powered by a twin-turbo 5.0-liter V8 and 3 electric motors. But the real twist? It had no traditional gearbox. Yet, as you'd expect, all this required mind-bending precision. Developing and building the Regera wasn't just hard, it forced Koigseg to rethink the fundamentals of car design. This wasn't tweaking an existing system. It was reinventing the entire drivetrain from scratch. Still, the Regera remains a defining moment for hypercars. It ditched tradition and wrote a completely new rulebook for speed and innovation. Number 3. Citroën SM 1970. Now let's shift gears to something a little more elegant, but no less complex. The Citroën SM was born from a rare partnership between two wildly different car cultures: French engineering and Italian performance. Launched in 1970, the SM combined Citroën's legendary hydro pneumatic suspension with a Maserati V6 engine. It also featured turning headlights that followed the steering, speed-sensitive power steering, and a sleek aerodynamic body that was ahead of its time. At launch, it was misunderstood. But years later, enthusiasts came to admire its ambition. The SM wasn't just a grand tourer, it was a high-maintenance piece of art on wheels. Number 2. Mercedes-Benz 600 1964. Back in the 60s, luxury wasn't about touchscreen controls or ambient lighting. It was about mechanical mastery. And the Mercedes-Benz 600? That was the top of the pyramid. This wasn't just a car. It was a symbol of absolute power, driven by world leaders, rock stars, and people who made entire countries move with a phone call. Under the hood was a monstrous 6.3-liter V8 engine. Yet, despite the challenges, the 600 left a legacy. It was the most complicated luxury car of its era, one that still holds a certain mystique today. Number 1. Bugatti Veyron, 2005. The car that didn't just aim to be fast, it aimed to break the very idea of what a car could be. The Bugatti Veyron, launched in 2005, was more than a supercar. It was a moonshot. With a W16 engine, that's essentially two V8s joined together with 4 turbochargers and 10 radiators, the Veyron produced 1,001 horsepower. Its top speed? An insane 253 miles per hour. The result? A technical masterpiece, but also an economic nightmare. Volkswagen reportedly lost millions on every Veyron sold because they spared no expense chasing perfection. Still, that's what made it so iconic. The Veyron wasn't about practicality, it was about proving what was possible, even if it wasn't profitable. We've reached number 1, but there's still one more engineering marvel you won't want to miss. Before high-tech supercars and active suspension systems, there was a car that shocked people in the 1950s with a feature no one saw coming. And that is Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner, 1957. Before active suspension and electric motors ruled the road, there was the Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner. A car that looked fairly normal until you hit a button. Then, like something out of a cartoon, the entire hardtop roof folded into the trunk. Launched in 1957, it was the first American production car with a retractable hardtop. The mechanism involved 7 electric motors, 4 lift jacks, multiple solenoids, and over 600 feet of wiring. And all that mechanical hardware added a ton of weight. It looked cool, but it was fragile, expensive to fix, and not exactly what you'd call practical. Still, the Skyliner deserves credit. It kicked off the era of complex car tech, a preview of the engineering ambition that would come decades later. These cars weren't just built, they were imagined, engineered, and sometimes pushed to the edge of insanity. They're more than machines. They're statements of ambition, brilliance, and sometimes total overkill. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss a drop of automotive content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.